words of encouragement that I would like to give to you today is, if you're like me, there are times when you need to make a decision, and sometimes it's hard to figure out what you're supposed to do right now in this moment. My biggest thing that I could say to you right now is take a break and then come back to it later. And hopefully by then your mind will be refreshed and you'll be making the best decision possible. And be confident in what you're deciding, and don't go back and forth on what your decision is. No matter what happens, it is going to work out. So best wishes and whatever you're going through right now. People ask me a lot about getting into modeling as an adult, and then also for children as well. And the first thing that I want to say about this entire subject is that I am not just anybody yet. I know that a lot of people may see me on someone's runway, or they see me doing photo shoots. And yes, I've been on set with some of the greatest actors ever. However, I'm still putting in the work. I'm still trying to make it to that next level. I'm still here struggling, and yes, I'm still trying to make ends meet. By all means, I don't want you to think that I'm just doing it big right now. No, I'm still actually putting in a lot of hard work and effort. Yeah, I think some of my experiences can definitely help out other people, and I also think that you can definitely learn from where I think I've made mistakes. So I think I have enough experience under my belt just to share what I've gone through, what could help you, what I've noticed. So yeah, I have some people that are like, oh my gosh, I'm going to model, and I'm going to come to New York, and I'm going to model for Gucci, and I'm going to get with Ford, and I'm going to do this and that, and so on and so forth. And you know what? I really don't engage in that conversation too much. It's just some people that talk to me about getting into modeling and acting are slightly delusional. And I'm so sorry, that sounds slightly mean, but it's I can't even bring these people down to earth for a second for them to just realize hey, this is going to be hard work. It's not something that's necessarily going to happen overnight. You should be optimistic and you should be positive, because you never know what can happen. And I never want to rain on anyone's parade. I don't want anyone not to be positive and not to be optimistic, because you just never know what could happen. The thing is, you just have to put in the work and see what works best for you. Now, if you're not getting much luck getting discovered where you are, I suggest relocating if it's possible. So if you're not in New York, LA, or even Miami or any other fashion capital that exists in the world, you may want to consider relocating. Again, that's if you're just not having any luck at all where you are, or even when you try to go out to another state and audition or go to a casting call. So if you want to do high fashion modeling and you want to stay within the United States, or you want to get started in the United States, I suggest New York for high fashion. Why relocate? That's something you might be asking, why would she say relocate? Well, again, if you're not getting discovered where you are and your current attempts aren't working, I think networking is major, and also just being in the city where a lot of these major agencies are and a lot of work is taking place. Put yourself around it. So once you get here, you'll see that there are tons of opportunities. And yes, a lot of these opportunities are free gigs where you're not necessarily getting paid for it, but the networking is priceless. So the people that you meet while networking, they are so helpful. They can definitely, gear you and steer you in the right direction. They can share their experiences with you and just tips and tricks that they know. And if they catch wind of anything, they might even share that with you. And I feel like I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't have people in my life looking out for me, sharing their tips and tricks with me. Once you get to a certain point too, you want to help other people out. You want to help other models. You want to help other actors. So if there's information that you get, share it along. Granted, share it along as long as you're allowed to. Obviously, you'll be invited to private castings or private auditions. And so obviously you don't want to tell the whole entire world those things, but things that may be open to the general public. If you're going to move here to New York, you could experience culture shock. So I'm saying that because you need to be prepared for that. I suggest, if possible, if you financially are able to, try visiting home a couple of times. While you're here, visit home as much as possible, because I think it slowly helps you adjust to New York. If you do move to New York and you don't have a lot of money, my suggestion is be prepared to spend, a few months, even up to a year or maybe 2 years, just really getting settled and financially in a decent place. Obviously, if you can't eat, if you don't have food, if you don't have a roof over your head, it's going to be really difficult just to get to a casting call. So once you are ready to start submitting yourself to agencies, you can submit yourself online. You can go to open calls. I will say there are a lot of agencies now that are not doing open calls anymore. You can always go to their website and see if they're having any or not. Sometimes they will have a call, and unfortunately it's not like posted anywhere. However, you might catch wind from a friend that you know that also models, and they'll tell you about it. As far as submitting yourself online, I've noticed as far as the agencies that I've submitted myself to, they just want snapshots. They can be taken with your cell phone and with good lighting. I suggest daylight and also against a plain background. And as far as clothing, like a tank top, leggings, or even shorts. Lastly, don't be afraid to go with an agency that's not Ford, Wilhelmina, or Elite. You can go with an agency that's not as big as they are. However, be careful with the super sketchy ones. And again, this is where networking is important. Through networking and the people that are in your circle, you'll figure out who is who, like what agency you should work with, what agency you shouldn't work with. Another thing about this industry is that you need to have tough skin and be ready for rejections. Don't take it personal. Just keep it moving, keep pushing, go on to the next thing. With acting, getting principal roles, I feel like can be tough and it can take time, but it's definitely possible. As far as background acting, I feel like background acting is so much easier to get into than trying to get a role with lines. Before you do anything else, if you're going to get into acting, make sure that you are trained. You also need good headshots. Not just any headshot, you need good headshots. If you're in New York and you know photographers and you know how much they're charging, hey, feel free to leave that in the comment section below for everyone else that's watching this. Once you have all of that, you can start mailing your headshot, your resume, and also a cover letter to agencies and managers. It's great when they say you can send your stuff by email because then you can also provide a link to your demo reel or to your reel clips. And also start meeting casting directors and stay in contact with them. Now, don't harass them and don't overdo it. But once you start networking, you'll actually figure out how to do it and how to properly stay in contact with agencies, managers, and directors. Now with background acting, I don't think you need much training. You just need to be able to pantomime your butt off. You should definitely try to learn how to walk quietly, especially if you're doing background work in an office setting. Always be quiet on set and follow the directions that you're given. When you have time, you can just Google some background casting agencies and even casting websites that are in your area to get started into background acting. Now, when you do get on set with some of these well-known actors, try not to freak out, be respectful, and really you're told you're not supposed to interact with them or you're not supposed to carry conversations with them. However, I will say some of them will actually talk to you, even if you're trying to avoid them so you don't lose your job, some of them will actually talk to you. I personally have not seen a situation where someone got in trouble because one of the principal actors started talking to a background actor. But again, this is just my experience, and again, this is my experience here in New York. If you are going to do background acting, just know that you will get paid more if you join the union versus, working as non-union. Now, I'm not going to go into the specifics of that right now, but obviously, if you're going to try and do it for a long period of time, you obviously want to get paid more for the same work and the same amount of hours that you're putting in. However, if you're interested in knowing that information, let me know in the comment section, and if there's enough interest for it, I can go into more detail about that. I hope you found this information useful and helpful. All this comes from my own experience. Of course, you want to talk to others, hear from their experience, learn from us, learn from our successes, learn from our mistakes, and contribute it to your own personal journey. If there's anything else you would like to know about modeling or acting, please let me know in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching. Remember to subscribe, comment, and share.